This loser, shy, ugly boy with 0 reas is surrounded by 2 baddies with 1 million gyat after trying to sell flower accessories, but he is the worst at selling. A quiet boy from the science club tries to sell flower trinkets to classmates, but during the autumn of 8th grade, no one notices. After selling only 5 out of 100, he realizes sales may not be his strength. Just as he's about to give up, a cheerful blue-haired girl appears, eager to meet him. She scolds him for leaving his booth, saying a group of girls had come by and bought 27 accessories minus 15 visitors in total. Embarrassed, he accepts the money without meeting her eyes. When she asks why he's avoiding her gaze, he can't explain he's just not used to talking to cute girls. She then asks why he needs to sell 100 items, surprising him with her knowledge. She says Mr. Sato told her. As they talk, her energy feels overwhelming, as if she's trying to pull secrets out of him, secrets he's not ready to share. Convinced the girl would mock him if she knew the truth, Natsume takes a breath and admits he wants to focus on making flower accessories, despite his parents pushing him to become a civil servant. To prove himself, he vows to sell 100 pieces at the school festival. The girl laughs so hard her juice sprays on his face, saying any sane parent would oppose such a reckless plan. Offended, he tells her to shut up, but she just asks how many are left minus 68. Confidently, she offers to sell the rest the next day, saying she wouldn't be Himari otherwise. 2 years later in class, Natsume sees girls looking at a photo of him online, curious about the earrings. Himari hands them a card. His accessories are now sold online. Yes, she sold them all at the festival, and now Natsume ships his products from the family shop. Despite the usual business hiccups, he's paid to gather flowers and enjoys the peaceful escape it brings. His sisters say he's naturally introverted, and now he expresses himself through solitude and creativity. During work, Natsume hugs him from behind, then sits on his lap to distract him since he's been at it for hours. While he reminisces about the cultural festival when Henry had long hair, she jokes he's changed a lot, clings to him like a backpack, and squeezes his neck because she says it's the best one to have in Japan. This is their usual routine at the little garden shop they built over time, and thinking back to when they were at a diner, Natsume once asked Himari why she helped. Himari admitted she wasn't trying to help, just saw a chance to sell accessories and ended up offering to support the store idea, especially since she liked that choker gift. She often saw Natsume working with resin in the lab, and once tried to call but got ignored, yet she knows the boy tends the garden daily, naming each flower and crying when he has to trim them, and honestly, she was just going to buy that choker online until she realized his shop was struggling. She asked her close friend for a big favor that cost her a lot, so now Natsume owes her. When he asks what he owes, Himari jokingly says she wants to keep the friend's eyes, not literally, but because she loves how they shine when he's focused, glowing like a sunset. She plans to sell the friends accessories so they can share the same path as best friends. Hearing this, Natsume bites her burger and recalls the flower he gave her, symbolizing friendship and unity. Back in the moment, he asked about the talent agency that reached out, but she turned them down to focus on her accessories. He thinks it's a missed chance, but she insists it's fine because they're best friends. If he doesn't open a shop by 30, she jokes she'll have to marry him. Natsume tells her to quit messing around, especially since Hibari now calls him little brother-in-law. Besides, you can't marry someone you're not dating. Himari then brings up his old school crush and suggests if that doesn't work out, he should try seeing girls as potential partners. Natsume might like the idea, but the issue is that Himari teases him constantly. She remembers dating a few guys, but always ended up talking about Natsume, probably because they were just distractions. She admits she doesn't really get romance, and when Natsume asks if she won't marry until he opens his shop, she says she'd prefer that but worries she'll be forced into marriage with some old man since he doesn't want to marry her. He's surprised that still happens, but she says it does, especially for girls from well-known families, and just as he starts to feel bad, she laughs, saying she was joking. Later, while checking a delivery, Natsume recalls a time Himari said all guys could be like him. Dating felt pointless, and neither of them would marry. She because she doesn't understand love, him because he gets emotional over picking flowers. So she suggested they move in together at 30 if still single, to drop the nonsense and focus on his shop. And when he admits he likes more grounded girls, she hugs him from behind, thrilled by her first ever rejection. Back to today, Natsume delivers the orders to Sakura and asks for extra money to buy more flowers, thinking sales will rise thanks to Himari's promotion. The guy teases her about the boy she was walking with, but she brushes it off, saying it's none of his business. As she walks away, she thinks the boy's clueless for not seeing Natsume's value, and that boys and girls can just be friends. Otherwise, she couldn't explain wanting to support Yu's goals without it sounding like something else. Still, if he ever dates someone, she hopes the girl respects their bond. Later, Natsume buys a juice and bumps into a stunning girl, staring without noticing because he never acts normal around pretty women. Without saying a word, he imagines designing an accessory and match her nails like a bracelet. She wore a night-blooming Sirius bracelet, which surprises him since he thought only Himari had one. Then it breaks, so he awkwardly offers to fix it, struggling to meet her eyes. The girl freaks out, thinking he crossed a line, so he bolts, deciding not to tell Himari. She'd never let him live it down. As soon as he gets back to class, the annoying blue-haired girl already knows the gossip and keeps bugging her friend on text chat, saying she can figure out who the mystery girl is. To make things worse, Makishima, a known flirt who acts like an old-school poet, randomly shows interest in Natsume, which might explain why Himari suddenly appears to claim her territory. Confused, Natsume wonders why these two seem to be fighting over him, especially since they used to date back in middle school. Himari says she'd rather forget that painful time, and Makishima pretends not to know why. She snaps and reminds him he was dating 5 girls at once back then. Frustrated, Natsume demands to know why Makishima is even here. That's when Makishima introduces Ryan, the girl Natsume met by the vending machine. Himari immediately recognizes her as Inochi. They both find it odd that Ryan is now Inochi, and also Makishima's childhood friend, even though she went to a different school. Himari remembers seeing Ryan a few times because their siblings were classmates. She also recalls that even Natsume is connected. On the second day of the bazaar, Ryan's sister, who used to model and now does ads, was the one promoting his accessories and probably gave Ryan the bracelet. The two friends then go find Ryan to check out the broken bracelet. Natsume sees the clasp is worn but fixable, while Ryan panics, thinking her cherished trinket is ruined, jumping on the table for answers until Himari warns her to go easy since the boy is shy around pretty girls, even holding up a mirror to show Ryan her scary face, which only worsens her meltdown as she falls in a rage, demanding the bracelet be repaired. Himari casually calls her clumsy while Ryan blames her, digging up old fights, including stolen toys and a PE class incident. So intense that Natsume considers learning her scolding technique, but it escalates when Himari repeats her past blunder, triggering chaos and earning a sign that reads, "I grabbed my classmate's melons again." Meanwhile, Natsume calmly starts the repair, impressing Ryan with his focus, and when he finally looks up, the girls stifle laughter. Himari had tied bows in his hair without him realizing. Despite the earlier chaos, the fix goes well and Ryan is grateful. As it's time to go, Yu walks home before it rains, leaving Ryan alone with Himari. Ryan asks if there's something between her and Natsume, and Himari playfully hints the brunette likes him, though inside she feels jealous and tells herself Ryan wouldn't get Natsume's depth or talent. She's also scared she'll lose her bond with him if he gets close to someone else. When it starts raining at the bus stop, Ryan asks if she's ever been confessed to by a stranger. Her mom once said only kind people can create things that truly touch others. Ryan didn't know who the person was but felt they were close by. Showing a photo, Himari reveals that this boy's creations always showed up in her pics, making Ryan think Natsume might be the one. Himari clutches her choker, realizing it was selfish to think only she understood Natsume, and that maybe their friendship wasn't as strong as she hoped. It could all just been her own wishful thinking. One morning over breakfast, Yu wonders how he ended up talking to another girl besides Himari. His sister Sakura walks in and notices he looks more tired than usual, so he tells her about his strange meeting with Ryan. She suggests Ryan might spark new creative ideas, since his recent work looks too similar, likely because he's only been thinking of Himari. Though Yu argues his sales are fine, Sakura counters that he has no repeat customers and reminds him of his promise. If he doesn't grow his flower accessory business, he'll have to run the family store and marry Himari. During class, Yu can't stop thinking about her words and realizes she may be right. He's so distracted he doesn't notice Shinji watching him. Later, Shinji questions Ryan about Yu and offers help winning him over, but she keeps quiet. Himari sees them, gets into an argument with Shinji, and only stops when tennis club girls pull him away. Hare then talks to Ryan alone, making her uneasy. Meanwhile, Yu is watering flowers when Himari jumps on his back, asking why he seems so distracted in class. Yu shares his idea to switch up his next accessory line with a new theme, romance and rejection. Himari finds this hilarious and teases him, amused that he of all people is diving into love. As Yu talks about his chat with Sakura, Himari agrees that thinking like a customer might help more than just making what he likes. Yu is surprised by how into the theme Himari seems, even she claims she doesn't feel romantic emotions. She jokes that since she's admired by many guys, she has more experience with love. When you test her and asks what love really is, she instantly says it's the desire for physical closeness. He argues that sounds like lust, but she says lust can come from love. Turning the tables, she asks if there's a type of girl he's drawn to. As Yu starts describing Ryan, she nudges him, asking if he's ever wanted to kiss her. He shuts down her matchmaking attempt and she says maybe using Ryan as a muse could help. Yu admits he's never wanted to kiss anyone. Himari, unbothered, casually suggests he try kissing her to see what it feels like, leaving him completely flustered. Yu confidently asks Himari if she sees him as a man, but she says she only views him as a best friend. She insists it'll be a meaningful experience for both of them since neither has kissed anyone before. Just as Yu starts to understand her logic, he realizes kissing his friends might not be right. Sensing his doubt, Himari grabs his hand to show how easy closeness is. Yu already feels that's crossing a line but still entertains the idea and suggests they try kissing. As Himari slowly leans in, Yu panics, taken off guard by her seriousness, and is struck by how beautiful she looks. He closes his eyes, expecting the kiss, only to open them and find her laughing. Embarrassed, Yu crouches, ashamed for believing her. Seeing this, Himari says she might have gone too far and promises to make it up to him, telling him to keep Saturday open without saying why. When the day comes, Yu is surprised to be picked up by Himari's cheerful brother, who says he's missed him. Yu thanks him for the sushi and brings up his older sister, someone Himari knows from school, known for her smarts and popularity. You feel self-conscious about the differences between him and Sakura in academics and social status. Noticing his discomfort, I reassures him, emphasizing his unique talents and jokingly suggesting he stay at their house and focus on making accessories full-time. When dropping you off, I express his regret about not spending more time together, hurriedly leaving for work. You watch as the car leave, realizing how spontaneous both Hibari and Himari are. Just then, Himari appears and criticizes his outfit, calling it unfashionable. You notices her effort to look cute daily and defends himself, explaining that Hibari was too eager to let him change. Himari then surprises him by revealing she brought Ryan along to hang out. At a cafe, Yu struggles to connect with a distant Ryan, but Himari lightens the mood by mentioning Yu's upcoming accessory photo shoot. She excitedly suggests Ryan as the new model and reveals Ryan has already agreed. During their meal, she explains that Ryan wants to repay Yu for fixing her bracelet, and the shoot will take place at Ryan's family's sweet shop, which shocks Ryan. She quickly excuses herself to call her mom for permission. Later, they visit an accessory store, where Yu is excited by the flower-themed items. Himari gets his attention, and they begin exploring different colors and designs for Ryan. Suddenly, Yu realizes he might be too comfortable around Ryan and pulls back, apologizing. Himari teases him, and Ryan finds their natural interaction amusing. The group then starts trying various accessories on Ryan. Himari suggests Yu put the red necklace on Ryan, which he does without thinking, assuming Ryan doesn't see him as a man. However, as he fastens the necklace, he notices Ryan's slight tension and flushed reaction. Himari, sensing an opportunity, remarks on how revealing Ryan's clothes are, embarrassing her. Flustered, Ryan retaliates by lifting Himari into the air. They then head to the flower section, where Ryan is captivated by violet wisteria. She remembers how beautiful they are and how they remind her of something from her past. Yu notices her wistful tone, but when he asks, Ryan brushes it off. Himari soon calls out, suggesting Yu pick roses, but Yu disagrees, feeling roses wouldn't suit Ryan's understated yet striking beauty. Realizing what he said, he tries to play it off, but Himari grins in satisfaction before heading off to buy drinks, leaving Yu and Ryan alone. On her way to a cafe, she thinks that if anyone could win Yu's heart, she'd be fine with it being Ryan. After Himari leaves, Yu apologizes to Ryan, unsure if he made her uncomfortable. Their conversation shifts to how Ryan and Himari became friends, surprising Yu to learn Ryan was the one who first reached out. This changes Yu's perspective of Ryan, adding depth to her quiet nature. Ryan mentions wanting to incorporate large flowers into her accessories, and Yu agrees, saying her look would suit bold designs. Realizing he just complimented her, he awkwardly backpedals as Ryan blushes. Trying to ease the moment, Yu notices a bunch of tulips and excitedly admires their colors, not realizing Ryan is listening closely. Thinking he's boring her, he hurries to buy the tulips. But before he can leave, Ryan tugs his sleeve, silently asking him to continue his story about flowers. Captivated by her stillness, he shares how he discovered his love for flowers during a visit to a botanical garden. While lost, he met a girl, and they helped each other search for their families. She was drawn to a bright red flower, and Yu bought it for her. They found her parents, but the moment stayed with him, inspiring his passion to preserve flowers. He hoped his work would protect moments like that. Ryan then asks if the flower was a hibiscus, recalling how Yu had said it suited her. That comment made her feel beautiful, even with the hair she once disliked. Yu is struck with realization. The girl in the garden was Ryan, his inspiration. As the sun sets, Yu worries about Himari, but Ryan suggests exchanging numbers before they part. Meanwhile, Himari, troubled by the image of Ryan and Yu, lies awake, sensing unease despite knowing she should be happy for them. One morning, Yu sluggishly heads to school, preoccupied with the unsettling realization that Ryan had been his first love all along, a thought that left him sleepless all weekend. He tried texting Himari, but she ignored him without explanation. Suddenly, she greets him cheerfully, though her stiff posture and obvious distance raise his suspicions. When he questions her about disappearing Saturday and ignoring his messages, she casually dodges him with a weak excuse about keeping 3 meters apart. Before he can press further, Ryan appears with a soft morning, and he distractedly replies. Sensing his mood, Ryan glances toward the lockers and spots Himari hiding. She lures her out by saying she brought cookies and playfully scolds her. As the three walk to class, Yu listens quietly to their dynamic, briefly wondering how two such opposites are even friends. Before parting, Ryan hands him a neatly wrapped pack of cookies. Surprised by the delicate design, he watches her leave, feeling his face flush. Suddenly noticing his reaction, Himari jumps at the chance to tease Yu about his feelings for Ryan, keeping it up until lunch on the rooftop. She mocks the moment he realized Ryan was the girl from his past. Annoyed, Yu lightly pins her against the railing, demanding why she's been acting strange and listening in. He stops when he sees her flustered, a rare sight. She calls him weird, but he fires back, saying she's the one being strange with her constant comments about him and Ryan. Without another word, she hands him a cold drink and walks off. As he sips, her embarrassed expression stays with him, and for the first time in ages, he quietly admits she looked cute. Later in the science lab, Ryan is amazed as the flower peels fade to white. Curious, she asks how he'll restore their color. Yu says he saved the original pigments and will recolor them soon. explaining it's a slow but essential step to preserve the flower's beauty and his past self. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he sees Himari trying to mess with him again. He snaps and tells her to stop distracting him. Himari grins, clearly amused by Yu's frustration. With a sigh, he turns to Ryan, asking her to restrain Himari. Ryan agrees, grabbing Himari's shoulders and handing her a favorite drink that calms her briefly. Yu thanks Ryan, explaining that Himari always derails his work, causing delays. Offended, Himari retorts that he used to flirt back before Ryan started joining them. Yu groans, calling her shameless, but Himari leans in, teasingly suggesting they resume their fake kiss routine. Horrified, Yu grabs her shoulders and calls her weird, but she traps him into admitting it really happened. Ryan quietly excuses herself and Yu turns to scold Himari, only to find her laughing hysterically. As he helps her up, she pulls him down, mischievously proposing they kiss since Ryan already thinks it happened, and besides, she reminds him of their so-called pact to be together by 30 is still single. Flustered, Yu insists she made that up. Himari's voice softens as she tells Yu she was always serious and suggests a kiss might help them grasp love better. For their accessory, of course. Yu, caught off guard, feels his heart race from the swirl of emotions. As he leans in, a camera click stops him. Himari snaps a photo and bursts out laughing, saying it'll be perfect to prank Ryan. Embarrassed and stunned, Yu watches her laugh it off. He helps her up and returns to his seat in silence. She quietly calls him an idiot for hesitating, what he doesn't hear. When he asks what she said, she quickly mocks his flower obsession before leaving with a casual wave. Yu, left confused, doesn't realize Himari is just as uncertain. The next day, Shinji pulls him aside and brings him to the school garden, quickly asking how things are going with Ryan, knowing that she's already confessed. Yu hesitates, confused. He doesn't recall a confession, just the moment they realized they were each other's first love. It never felt official. They hadn't even discussed dating. Shinji raises a brow, insisting it counts, especially since Ryan's been baking for him. Yu shrugs, unsure. His emotions are tangled, not from disinterest, but from being overwhelmed. He adds that Himari's been acting oddly bold lately, which piques Shinji's curiosity. Later, the trio, Yu, Ryan, and Himari, meets in the lab to check the preserved tulips. They're still vibrant and Ryan is amazed. Himari, as usual, teases Yu's lack of charm. He brushes it off, handing Ryan some prototype accessories to try. As she poses, Himari whispers that Yu should ask for more seductive shots. He sighs, gently scolds her, and refocuses, frustrated that Ryan's poses echo Himari's too much. Then he notices Ryan's old bracelet and suddenly blurts that he wants to shoot her as the queen of the night, inspired by the mysterious flower she once reminded him of. Ryan blinks, surprised. Yu hesitates, uncertain, ready to dismiss the idea, until Himari steps in, waving him back and telling him to keep his phone ready. She whispers something to Ryan, who then glances at Yu with wide, tender eyes. In that instant, he captures the perfect shot. Beautiful raw, but something feels off. Concerned, he asks Ryan what's wrong, but Himari interrupts with a laugh, teasing Ryan for believing her. Ryan retaliates playfully. Later, Yu confirms the photo perfectly reflects what he wants for the new accessory line. Elegance, mystery, warmth. On the way home, he asks Himari what she whispered. She refuses to answer. Then she suddenly asks if he'll make her a tulip accessory for when she falls in love. Yu, caught off guard, glances at her, the sunset soft on her face. She looks stunning. He notices the old choker he gave her, a silent promise to always protect her. With a teasing grin, he brushes it off, reminding her they're just friends. That night, Himari can't sleep. Her mind stuck on the image of Yu and Ryan. She tries to shake the thought, but Yu's tender gaze at Ryan in the garden lingers. It was soft, warm, and affectionate. She realizes she wished that look had been for her, maybe always had. She's been the best friend, the loud one, the constant by his side. But now that role stings. Not wanting to lose him, she quietly decides to pull back just enough to stay close, even if it means fading into the background. Days later, Shinji, Himari, Yu, and Ryan meet at a sushi place to celebrate Yu's new accessory. Himari and Shinji bicker while Yu keeps the peace. Yu unveils a red tulip hairpin, gifting it to Ryan. Himari covers her discomfort with forced cheer. Spotting this, Shinji suggests Yu place the pin on Ryan himself. After a pause, Yu does and Ryan lights up. Himari and Shinji avert their eyes, feeling the moment was too intimate. Then Shinji pushes further. Ryan should be Yu's regular model. Himari, clearly upset, agrees it's good for business but says Ryan might not handle the pressure. A heated fight breaks out between Himari and Shinji. She claims she's protecting Ryan, but he says she's just afraid Ryan is taking a role she secretly wants. Shinji looks to Yu for support, but Yu doesn't see a problem. He's fine with Ryan modeling, especially since it was Himari's idea. He even calls out Himari's recent behavior as annoying, though he doesn't admit how his feelings for her are changing. He needs Ryan to keep him steady, while Himari is only making things messier. Overwhelmed, Himari searches for her yogurt, realizes it's missing, and loses it, dumping her drink on Yu and shouting that their friendship is over as they both yell at each other. At school after their fallout, Yu is visibly upset over Himari ending their friendship. Out of habit, he buys 2 yogurt drinks before realizing she's no longer beside him. In class, he sits silently next to her, receiving only a smug glance. Trying to bait her into talking, Yu opens a snack they used to share, but Himari resists. Frustrated, he loudly jokes about ending their tradition of opening a shop together, causing her smile to falter and tears to well up. As classmates pity her, Yu panics, but a message from Himari distracts him. It's a photo of her signing with a talent agency and news that she's transferring soon. Shocked, Yu jumps up demanding answers, but Himari only laughs, drops the act, and sprints out of the classroom, leaving Yu chasing after her in vain. Yu runs into Ryan, who also got a message from Himari saying she's leaving for Tokyo. They agree she owes them an explanation and set a trap with her favorite snacks hiding nearby. Himari shows up, mocks their setup, but still takes the bait. Yu jumps out, declaring the plan a success, but when he accuses her of wanting attention, she runs off. Yu chases and catches her. Overwhelmed, she slaps him without a word. This sparks a heated argument where Yu accuses her of abandoning their friendship. Himari lashes out, and in the struggle, Yu accidentally breaks her pendant. Seeing her devastated reaction, Yu realizes their bond isn't worth fighting for anymore. Bitter accusations fly. Yu claims Himari used him for his creations, while she accuses him of only valuing her as a helper. Finally, she breaks down in tears, revealing the pain she's been hiding. Despite once promising the title was hers alone, Yu easily made Ryan the main model, leaving Himari feeling like a backup. Though part of her wants them happy, she can't bear being second best. In anger, she rips off her choker, throws it down, and vows to leave for somewhere she'll be valued. Later, Yu sits alone in the garden, deep in thought, when Shinji joins him, mentioning Ryan's worries and handing him a drink. When Yu asks why Shinji pushed for Ryan, Shinji explains he wanted Ryan to finally have Yu's full attention. He warns that if Himari keeps clinging to Yu without clarity, it could hurt them all. Yu insists Himari is just a friend, but Shinji points out that if that were true, Yu wouldn't be so shaken or still hesitant with Ryan. He urges Yu to figure out his feelings before he loses Himari for good. After Shinji leaves, Yu reflects on everything, staring at Himari's broken pendant in his hand. That evening, Yu decides to message Himari, hoping to understand why she left. Her response feels distant, as though she's already made up her mind. Reflecting on their past, he remembers how she was the first to believe in his work. None of this would have started without her. He sends a simple apology, offering to give in if it might make her stay. But when she doesn't reply, he realizes something important. Himari will be fine on her own, while he and his business will struggle without her. Still, he resolves to work harder even alone. Meanwhile, Himari smirks, pleased with her plan to make Yu realize his dependence on her. But when a flash of her broken choker crosses her mind, she feels a twinge of sadness. Shaking it off, she punches her stuffed toy, determined to make Yu work harder to win her back. She even contemplates asking him for help with kissing practice. The next day, though, he does nothing, no apology, no dramatic gesture. He avoids her as if nothing happened. Himari is confused but not yet panicked. She convinces herself that Yu just needs time to process their friendship before reaching out. As the evening passes without any message, she checks social media and sees a photo of Ryan smiling with someone cropped out. Himari immediately recognizes Yu's arm next to her. Days go by and Yu still hasn't contacted her. The product launch happens and Ryan looks stunning as the lead model. Jealousy stings as Himari wonders if she's being replaced. When she enters the kitchen, her brother Hibari notices her mood and casually comments on her distance. Unable to hide her feelings, Himari admits everything and Hibari becomes furious, accusing her of emotionally manipulating Yu. He reminds her of a favor he did for her in middle school, helping her sell flower accessories because he believed in Yu's potential and promised to support her dreams. Himari accuses him of being cold-hearted for walking away from Yu just because things didn't go her way. Overwhelmed, Himari finally admits she's in love with Yu but doesn't know how to handle it. Her tearful confession softens Hibari's heart, but he insists she must choose, fight for Yu or keep chasing her own ambitions. Hibari explains that his job often requires painful sacrifices for a greater purpose, something beyond personal desires. The next day, still uncertain, Himari messages Yu to meet. They arrange to meet at the science lab. When she arrives, nervous, she asks Yu to share a story first. Yu hands her an envelope by mistake. It's his school withdrawal letter. He admits he's decided to follow her to Tokyo because she's the most important person in his life, and he's willing to give up his dreams to be with her. Still, he worries if he'll be enough without his creative work. Himari is moved but doesn't say anything, instead remembering their time together. Impulsively, she tears up the letter and reassures him she isn't going to Tokyo. Yu insists she should follow her own dreams, stepping closer. Startled, Himari spills her drink and pushes him away, laughing off the moment. She says they can stay as they are, still willing to model for him. Curious, she asks what he was going to give her, and he hands her a repaired choker with a friendship ring. He explains it's for his best friend, the one who means most to him. Playfully, Himari demands he put it on her and notices a seed alongside the flower. He reveals it's a seed, teasing her about their childhood promise to marry if they're still single at 30. Later, in the girl's bathroom, she feels a little sad but thankful to be by his side. As she exits, her friends show her a photo of Yu. Meanwhile, in the science lab, Yu texts a friend to thank him for the rare flower and seed. Unbeknownst to Himari, the seed is from a purple tulip, a symbol of his hidden love, a confession he's too scared to make. As a child, Yu was captivated by beauty, especially flowers. Preserving them became his quiet escape, and he'd often read flower books in class, keeping to himself well into middle school. Just when he thought he'd mastered staying invisible, Himari appeared. He vividly recalled the day she invited him to lunch and wouldn't accept a refusal, handing him a drink and dragging him along. Her friends looked dismayed, likely expecting her company, but she joked with them while Yu stood awkwardly nearby. Before he could slip away, she led him to their usual lunch spot in the science lab. There, she confronted him about his recent distance, which startled him. He hadn't meant to avoid her, but after classmates pressured him to step back for her sake, he quietly withdrew. She then showed him texts from a boy urging her to leave Yu, someone already in a relationship but willing to cheat for a chance with her, alongside a message from the girlfriend accusing Himari of stealing her boyfriend. She said the popular crowd looked appealing from a distance but lacked authenticity. Tired of the social drama, she preferred the quiet comfort of watching Yu work. She grabbed his hand and made him swear they'd always stay best friends and, more importantly, never fall in love, so nothing would ruin their bond. Though caught off guard, he agreed. Then she slyly played back their promise and ran off laughing, with Yu chasing her through the lab, both breathless by the end. Resting, she joked about faking a relationship to keep annoying suitors away. Yu instantly declined, wary of rumors, but laced his fingers with hers and teased they should date for real, though he meant it half seriously. Now Yu was hopelessly in love with Himari, regretting not confessing when he gave her the ring. Spotting her smile outside the building, he tries to act natural, only for her to mock his awkwardness, saying he looks sick. They fall into their usual banter on the way to class. Yu notices the ring is gone from her finger, until she points at her belt, where it's now hanging from her choker. Yu blinks, briefly surprised by how effortlessly she pulls it off. He casually offers to make a new one since the choker looks worn, but Himari quickly refuses. It's meaningful to her. Yu leans closer but retreats, realizing he's been staring. To ease the awkwardness, Himari jokes they should date if he's that into her. Yu plays along with a fake confession, saying he likes her, then laughs it off. Her expression stays the same, but her silence is cutting. She sips her drink, eyes steady, and calmly calls out how forced it sounded. Before he can react, she says she remembered something and leaves. In the bathroom, she grips the sink, water on her face as she tries to calm down. For a moment, she believed him and nearly revealed her feelings, along with a recent message from Ryan. Meanwhile, on his way to class, Yu is called to the faculty office. At lunch, Ira finds out he turned in a nearly empty midterm after dozing off from staying up making runs accessory. He's offered a retake on Sunday. Wanting to help, Himari gives him her favorite drink and offers to study with him. She also mentions people discover he's the artist behind the preserved flower pieces, but Yu doesn't seem to mind. Yu's lack of concern unsettles Himari. She warns him that once rumors spread, girls will flock to him, eager to model, just like Ryan did, and knowing him, he won't refuse. When he starts to look overwhelmed, he steadies her with a hand on her shoulder, promising she'll always be his top model. The earnestness in his gaze and their sudden closeness make Himari's heart race before she panics and slaps him in embarrassment. He protests, and she snaps that it's his fault for being so corny. Their argument is cut short when Yu notices Ryan watching them silently from the hallway. Something feels wrong. Normally cheerful around her, he now senses unease. He greets her, trying to figure out how long she's been there. Ryan coldly says she heard everything and quickly leaves. Later, neither Himari nor Yu can concentrate in class. Himari struggles with emotions she can't express and, frustrated, silently swears to stay by Yu's side, even if only as a friend. She then suspects Shinji leaked Yu's identity. On the rooftop, Shinji admits he did it, to help Ryan win Yu's heart. Himari snaps back, insisting that even if Ryan cuts her off, Yu will still be her closest friend. Shinji doesn't buy it. He says she's fooling herself, that her feelings for Yu are too obvious. She missed her chance when Yu was ready to leave for Tokyo with her, and now Shinji thinks Ryan will win because she actually takes action. He walks away without revealing his true intentions. After school, Himari and Yu ride the bus home, chatting about his exam. They're headed to Kim's place to study, and Yu, remembering the overwhelming welcome from her family last time, feels uneasy. When he notes they're alone, Himari flicks his forehead, accusing him of lying. She knows he'd never skip studying. But Hibari explains Himari isn't home. She just sent over the study materials. He was briefly excited, only for Hibara to surprise him with party streamers. Himari laughs at the doorway, clearly proud of the prank. After the chaos, they settle in with a massive pile of books. Himari, now in tutor mode with glasses and a sharp focus, makes Yu groan. He finally asks why she isn't at work. Himari confidently assures him that her team can manage without him. His only job today is helping Yu succeed. He promises to support Yu's dream of making floral accessories, saying grades shouldn't be an obstacle. He'll help Yu learn everything he needs before graduation so he can return to his craft without worry. Yu is startled by Hebru's intense stare and turns to Himari for help, but she's already closing the door, offering a cheeky grin and wishing him luck. Hours later, after the study session, she thanks Yu for helping her brother unwind, joking that he was the perfect target since her brother has a soft spot for him. Laughing like wind chimes, she catches Yu staring as he wonders what accessory would suit her light blue yukata. Before he can daydream further, she teases him. At the bath, Yu is surprised by how spa-like it is. As Himari steps out to give him privacy, he begins undressing. until her voice suddenly returns, announcing she's coming back in. Panicked, Yu scrambles to cover up as she playfully offers to wash his back as an apology. His expression tenses as he remarks how inappropriate it is between a boy and girl, but Himari brushes it off, saying close friends don't need to worry about that. With a sly grin, she teases him about liking her. Flustered, Yu boldly tells her to wash his back then. She blushes but unexpectedly agrees, asking for a moment. After she closes the door, Yu sits unsure if she's serious, until someone starts scrubbing his back. Peeking, he screams when he sees Himari, while the real one laughs outside. Frustrated, Yu says the prank wasn't funny. She shrugs it off, and he awkwardly tries to explain their friendship. Himari seems relieved, but casually says she feared not being able to apologize. Yu, confused since he was the one who apologized, raises her suspicion. She demands answers, and as Yu talks, her face hardens. Meanwhile, the real Himari is giggling on her bed until a knock stops her. Thinking it's Yu, she calls out cheerfully, but her smile vanishes when Hibari enters with a chilling look, asking to talk. The next morning, Himari drives them to school, tearful, but acting normal as she gives Yu study tips. At school, she quietly says she's glad Hibari is gone. Ryan arrives and coldly greets only Yu. He tries explaining he stayed over to study. Ryan's eyes flash with resolve, and she declares she'll join their sessions too. In class, Yu struggles to grasp that Ryan invited herself to his study session with Himari. When Ryan texts him about what to bring, he checks if she's serious. She is even texting her mom and Himari for approval. Himari notices Yu blushing while texting and correctly guesses it's Ryan. She playfully teases him and tells him they can't use her house anymore, partly because she doesn't want her home open to the sister of someone Yu supposedly dislikes. As they consider other spots, Himari jokes about Yu seeming excited for a study date and brings up last night's awkward moment, making Yu flustered. He scolds her in class, drawing their irritated teacher's attention. During break, two girls ask Yu about his flower accessory business and want custom orders, making him anxious. Shinji arrives, shoos the girls off by pretending he needs to talk to Yu, and they leave without argument, not fond of Shinji. Meanwhile, Himari tells Ryan they can't study at her house, which disappoints Ryan and leaves Himari unsure of her intentions. In the garden, Yu and Shinji eat lunch, and Yu confronts him after hearing from Himari that Shinji leaked his identity. Shinji casually admits it, saying it was to help Ryan get closer to Yu. Yu begs him to keep Ryan from joining the study session, but Shinji laughs, surprised by the news, and jokes about Yu attracting both girls. When Yu asks him to be serious, Shinji blames Yu's own actions, especially giving Himari the ring, which both Ryan and Shinji saw. Later, Yu meets Himari, who suggests holding the session at his house, though hesitant about both girls staying over. Himari says she already invited Ryan and playfully insists. Yu tries to say no but finds her too cute to resist. A council member reminds Himari about a meeting, leaving Yu to deal with Ryan alone. After school, Yu hurries home, panics over the mess in his room, and scrambles to clean before the doorbell rings. He quickly answers the door to find Ryan looking stunning in a stylish outfit and wearing the flower accessory he'd recently made for her. Inviting her in, he explains they'll be alone for a bit. His family's still at work, and he hasn't shown up yet. As Ryan glances around, she notices the absence of flowers. Yu laughs and opens his closet to reveal a hidden mini garden, explaining he hides his plants there to keep them safe from their troublemaking cat, Dafuku, since some could be toxic. He shows her a baby sage plant, noting its soothing, focus-enhancing qualities ideal for studying. Ryan is impressed by his plant knowledge and how he integrates it into his life. Yu suggests they start, and Ryan eagerly agrees, mentioning she's ranked second in their class. Shocked, Yu asks who's first. Ryan's face falls slightly as she says, Shinji. As they begin, Yu struggles to concentrate, his eyes unintentionally drifting to her chest. Flustered, he excuses himself to grab drinks. Alone, Ryan smells the sage and spots his bed. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Yu's thoughts drift to comparing Himari and Rune. He briefly hoped Himari shows up, then regrets it, realizing having both girls there could be a disaster. When Yu comes back with the tea, he's surprised to catch Ryan sniffing his pillow. They exchange a quick glance, then quietly return to the table and sit. As the mood grows tense, Yu softly says her name. Flustered, Ryan admits she was curious about the scent. It reminded her of the sweet-smelling baby sage, and the pillow had the same aroma. Yu, trying to stay calm, explains it's from the tea he drinks, made from the same herb, and he spilled some on his bed. Ryan tastes the tea and is instantly pleased. Forgetting her embarrassment, she grabs the pillow again and sniffs it, confirming the match. Her bluntness makes Yu blush as she lounges on his bed. Suddenly, she confesses she loves him. Yu freezes, memories rushing back of rejecting Rune, who had quietly loved him for years. He'd chosen Himari back then, but Ryan had moved on gracefully. Now Yu returns to studying while Ryan naps on his bed. As the sun sets, he carefully approaches to wake her before someone arrives. As Yu approaches, Ryan shifts in her sleep and unknowingly pulls him into a hug. Suddenly, the door bursts open. Himari and Sakura freeze in shock at the sight. Yu frantically tries to escape Ryan's hold, mumbling excuses, while Ryan giggles in her sleep. She soon wakes, apologizing for the awkward moment. Sakura, skeptical, questions how someone as scatterbrained as Ryan could be Korea's sister. Curious, Himari asks about Ryan's older sister, recalling she helped promote his early work. Sakura says Karia and Himari were old classmates and still close, last meeting during New Year's. Himari is surprised, thinking Ryan's sister was a sensitive subject. Sakura assures them they're all grown and have moved past old issues. Ryan thanks her, admitting she knew little about her sister's friendships. Sakura then bluntly asks if Ryan likes Yu, making both flustered. With a sigh, Sakura jokes that Ryan's taste in men is just as poor as her sister's. After she leaves, Yu apologizes for her bluntness. Ryan reassures him, even confessing she envies Sakura for being a caring older sister, unlike her own who didn't bother reaching out during the holidays. As he snacks on cake, he notes that even though Sakura exposed Ryan's feelings, neither she nor Yu seem too bothered, just surprised. You casually tell Himari that Ryan has already confessed to you 3 times, and by now, things between them are no longer tense. Himari is stunned, trying to catch up. Ryan watches her reaction with a quiet smile. Mistaking his calm for indecision, Himari accuses him of toying with Ryan. Before she can continue, Ryan grabs her face to stop her and warmly asks Yu if she really is his first love. Yu admits Ryan was, but he's unsure now. He says she's beautiful but doesn't want to give a dishonest answer. Ryan, undeterred, jots something in her notebook and cheerfully says she'll use it in her next confession. Changing the subject, Yu asks how the girls are doing. They exchange looks and confess they were supposed to end their friendship. Ryan had planned to distance herself out of hurt, thinking Himari, who knew her feelings, was taking Yu away. Yu admits he offered to go to Tokyo with Himari, but Ryan surprisingly admits she may have overreacted. Ryan shares that Shinji helped her gain clarity, making her realize it was unfair to resent Hemi when you had valued her for years. Instead of feeling overlooked, she chooses to become meaningful to both without disrupting their connection. Though Yu and Himari are surprised, Ryan expresses her admiration for Himari's resolve and wants to support them as a partner, not a rival. Moved by her honesty, they welcome her warmly. She also hopes to apply what she learns to improve her family's dessert shop. To celebrate their new partnership and future collaboration with Hugh's flower shop, they cheer together. That night, Ibari picks up Himari and criticizes her for letting Ryan in, calling him impulsive and risky. Before replying, Himari recalls once pushing Ryan toward Yu, only to later crave his attention herself. Instead of retreating, she deflects, accusing Heber of secretly meeting Kiria, despite his supposed hatred. He dismisses it, telling her to focus on her future and blaming her for dragging you down with emotional decisions. He coldly warns she's replaceable and shouldn't get too comfortable near you. After a pause, she seriously asks what he wants from her. He tells her to stop lying to you or risk losing you forever. She agrees, and thinking he's made progress, he offers to treat her, only to get frustrated when she asks how honest she really needs to be. On Friday, Yu misses all his exams, prompting the teacher to scold him for slacking before. Summer's first day hits, and Yu wakes up surprised by the heat. The girls, excited at home, are ready to switch to summer uniforms. On his way to school, he feels a bit lighter, knowing exams are over, and with Ryan on the team, studying is no longer a burden. At school, Himari greets him, proudly showing off his ring on her choker. Yu, flustered, tries to stay cool with small talk, but Himari quickly teases him for blushing over her outfit. She boldly says she likes his eyes and he shouldn't be embarrassed. Yu, caught off guard, lightly scolds her, warning others might misunderstand. When she acts innocent, he changes tactics and flirts back. She leans in playfully, making him think she might kiss him, then flicks his forehead. He's ready and returns the flick. Himari complains that both Yu and Ryan have been turning her jokes on her lately. She keeps teasing Yu about being bad at romance, making him drop the act and refocus on class. After school, he thinks about calling a team meeting. As Himari and Yu linger near the vending machines, Riem unexpectedly appears. Her uniform draws attention and Yu stares a bit too long, annoying Himari, who had to pose earlier just to be noticed. They all agree to meet in the garden to check inventory. Yu mentions flowers wilting too soon, and Himari quickly suggests promo photos, mainly to reclaim her modeling role. Mao and Asui show up, asking about the accessory idea. Yu takes them to the lab and shows a box of parts, but they're unimpressed and ask for something personalized. Yu freezes, but Himari steps in, explaining custom work takes time and that Yu only takes on meaningful projects. The girls reveal it's for Mao's anniversary, matching items. Yu likes the idea, seeing creative potential. He agrees to work with them, though it exhausts him. Himari jokes he'll need to get used to meetings. Ryan, observing quietly, suggests sorting inventory while refining plans. The next day, Yu pitches a design using Japanese cornel flowers to symbolize strength and maturity. Himari thinks it's too serious, but Yu explains it reflects the couple's bond. The girls like the symbolism, but remind him the client decides. Price becomes a concern. Yu admits his pieces are expensive and Mao might not manage it. Himari points out most of his buyers are adults, not students. Ryan adds her modeling drew student interest and says they're worth targeting. Though both girls are happy with the brand's growth, they worry about the rising number of female fans. Ryan raises his voice more than usual, creating a brief but soft exchange. I joke about keeping Yu grounded, trying to shift the focus. Yu agrees he needs to connect more with customers, realizing his online store could use a personal touch to grow. Days later, Yu gives preserved Japanese cornel flowers to Mao and her boyfriend, who are thrilled by the rare find. Their excitement convinces you to take measurements for custom pieces. Mao's boyfriend, initially unsure about matching jewelry, changes his mind after seeing her joy and admiration for Yu's work. That night, Yu devotes himself to crafting the necklaces with care. By morning, he presents elegant, heartfelt pieces that move the couple. Word spreads quickly, and students soon visit the lab requesting their own custom accessories. Himari and Ryan are shocked by the buzz, but see it as a promising sign. They just need a better system. When one custom piece is delivered, the recipient immediately falls in love with it. She wonders aloud if her crush might finally return her feelings now that a rumor says wearing a Yu accessory guarantees mutual love. Yu and Himari share puzzled looks, unsure where it started, but a crowd of girls interrupts, eager to place orders. During a break, the group regathers, and Himari is stunned by how much students are spending, crediting Mao and Asudi for the buzz. Though she knows the rumor is likely exaggerated, she's impressed by the attention it's brought. Inspired, the team gets to work. Yu, working from Himari's place, explains his cat keeps bothering him. Himari, noticing his fatigue, offers her lap for a nap and promises to wake him when Ryan arrives. He finds it awkward, but accepts, comforted by the quiet. As he rests, Himari jokingly accuses him of comparing her to Ryan. He tries to defend himself, but she teases him, saying he's trying too hard to be romantic like Shinji. Then Yu grows serious, asking why she wanted a love-themed piece despite her past with Shinji. Himari, lying back, gazes at the ceiling and says she just wanted to feel as cute as Ryan looked in hers. Yu remains silent. The quiet between them isn't uncomfortable. If anything, it calms him. He's glad Himari doesn't love someone else and secretly wishes she'll stay close, even just as a friend. Still, he knows a boyfriend would change everything. He eventually falls asleep, and Himari, hearing his soft breathing, smiles faintly as she studies his face. He's been different lately, likely from the stress of his expanding business, and it troubles her. Though he spends less time with her now, the accessory he gave her feels important. She holds on to that, convincing herself she still matters. Their moments together feel more fragile, which only makes them more valuable. The next day at lunch, while the group discusses deliveries, Shinji arrives. Himari quickly clutches Yu's arm protective. Ryan pauses, unsure. With a smug smile, Shinji says Ryan doesn't need tricks to win Yu's affection, then invites Yu to lunch to discuss business. On the roof, Shinji reveals he started the rumor about Yu's accessories causing love. He brushes it off as a joke, but hints at something emotional he may need to apologize for. Yu grows uneasy, unsure of Shinji's real intentions, but sensing something deeper. Why is Shinji so concerned about Ryan's happiness? Shinji vaguely says he owes her and walks away. Days later, Yu is summoned to the faculty room. Mr. Sasaki shows him a preserved purple flower pin. When Yu confirms he made it, Sasaki explains a parent complained her daughter was misled into paying too much. Yu defends himself, saying he explained the price, though he has no proof. He mentions the signed form Himari has, but Sasaki questions its validity. Yu clarifies that it's part of his family's shop managed by his sister Sakura. Recognizing the name, Sasaki softens and tells Yu to stop selling for now. Yu tells Himari and Ryan, who are outraged and want to confront the student, but something worse happens first. A girl who bought a Sakura-themed pin, thinking it would help her win over a boy, smashes it in anger when he turns her down. Yu watches quietly. Himari scolds the girl and runs after her. Yu slowly gathers the broken piece, a deep sadness weighing on him. He remembers the idea that beauty doesn't mean innocence, and realizes that love, no matter how beautiful, often comes with conflicting intentions. Holding the shattered pin, he feels an aching emptiness. Sakura visits Yu's school to address concerns about his accessory business. Though the teacher acknowledges Yu isn't to blame, some parents are still upset. They believe students were misled or pressured into overspending due to exaggerated rumors. The teacher suggests a flexible refund plan and asks Sakura for help. She agrees to consider it and plans to talk with Yu. Meanwhile, Yu stays home, unaware. At school, Asumi and Mao apologize to Himari near the roof, regretting how their promotions caused problems. They ask her to pass their apology to Yu. Though she agrees, Himari feels frustrated they didn't tell them themselves and that the responsibility has fallen on her. On her way down the stairs, she sees Yu returning. She greets him cheerfully, but he responds coldly and takes his seat. She worries briefly but believes he just needs time. At lunch, Yu meets Shinji in the garden. Shinji admits spreading the rumor and offers Yu a chance to vent, but Yu instead reflects on what it means to help friends. Shinji is surprised by his calm reaction. After school, Himari and Rune walk to the science lab, both uneasy about their shop's future. Himari proposes a weekend getaway to lift Yu's spirits, thinking a new environment might reignite his drive. Ryan voices hesitation, suggesting Yu may need time to rest instead. Himari takes this as pushback and tension rises. In a playful jab, she hints that Ryan being close to Shinji might know more about the rumor and notes Run's quiet interest in Yu. Their exchange is interrupted when Yu arrives carrying a box of returned accessories. They quickly examine the contents. Everything is damaged and unsellable. Himari vents her frustration, pointing out customers had agreed to all terms. Yu, however, calmly ends the discussion, choosing not to challenge the school further. The lab fills with a heavy silence. Refusing to let the mood linger, Himari invites them both on the trip. Ryan hesitates, then agrees, curious about a new tea shop. Himari eagerly adds she wants to shop and suggests you might find design inspiration. But Yu abruptly announces he's quitting accessories until graduation. The news stuns them. Himari freezes in shock. Yu speaks with a steady voice, but his decision is clear. He says chasing his dream now feels wrong. The fallout from the incident is too much. He's putting his accessory making on hold, maybe until after graduation, maybe longer. He forces a laugh, pretending it's a joke. It's not. She reminds him the school didn't stop him, that people still believe in him, but Yu stays firm. He insists it's only a break, yet Himari feels something slipping away. Hoping to reach him, she offers a yogurt drink, but Yu, irritated, tries to push it aside. It spittles on his shirt. As he wipes it off, she pleads again, saying he's most alive when he creates. But Yu hears it as pressure, not support. He says she doesn't understand the weight of burnout. The words cut. She falls silent, fists clenched. Grabbing the box of returned pieces, she heads to the window, almost throws it, but stops. She sets it down and leaves. At home, she lies on her bed, empty, aching. Later, Himari comes in and asks if she wants to eat. He sees her and instantly senses she and Yu argued, likely because she pressured Yu to keep working. Himari explains she only pushed him out of fear. Fear that if he stopped, he'd never create again, and the Yu she admired would vanish. Surprisingly, Heber doesn't ridicule her. He listens, then gives a rare smile, telling her she did well by being honest. Still, he reminds her that Yu must choose his own path. These struggles are part of being an artist. They can only wait and hope he returns. He tells her that if she truly cares, she must keep supporting him. Himari is confused. Hadn't he just said Yu needs to help himself? Heber smirks, saying her role is to be firm to pull Yu back into creating. If anyone can reach him, it's her. Maybe persistence will work. The next day, Himari finds Yu on the roof. He quietly apologizes, ashamed. She stays cold, voice sharp, saying if he's done making accessories, then she's done being his friend. Yu is shocked and panicked. He apologized, didn't he? But she grabs his tie, forcing him to look at her, eyes filled with pain. She tells him that by giving up, he's destroying her dream too. She won't let him crush their shared dream of opening a shop, not without resistance. She lets go of his tie and starts to walk away, but Yu stops her, saying she has no right to speak like that after she once tried to abandon it too. Days go by in silence until the weekend, when Yu lingers near the lockers, hoping to talk to Himari. Before he can approach, Ryan joins him. They head to his place and Yu sets up a game to teach her. Ryan clumsily hits buttons, making Yu smile at her goofy effort. During a tea break, she proudly sips after beating a game opponent. Yu says he's having fun, but Ryan calls him out. He's not being honest. She claims he's happy as crafting jewelry, not wasting time gaming. Yu insists he means to quit, but Ryan doubts him. She says if he and Himari have stayed close this long, he can face criticism. When Yu snaps, Ryan just grins, saying it's good he's finally being real. Touched, Yu takes her upstairs and shows her a pair of earrings. When asked who they're for, Ryan says they look like Himari's style. Yu confirms it. He made them with Himari in mind and admits that when he saw her break her accessory, he didn't feel anger, only a deep, painful realization. He hadn't been making accessories for love the craft, just to keep himself dressed. The business, clients, and even the dream had become a selfish excuse to hold on to her, and realizing that disgusted him. He wanted to quit, not to give up, but to honor the craft. Ryan taps his forehead, amused, telling him he's being dramatic. Yu stares, surprised at how easily she dismisses his turmoil. He envies her honesty, energy, and smile, but she denies being admirable. She says she hates the family shop, only joined the band for a friend, and even likes it when he and Himari fight because it gives her time alone with him. Then, smiling, she asks if it's strange she keeps confessing despite his rejections. Yu says it kind of is, but she just shrugs and says she loves him anyway, that hearing her name and his voice makes her happy. Yu turns away, guilt creeping in, and gently rejects her again. She laughs it off and says his reason for making accessories isn't shameful. Everyone has their own reasons, and if his work brings someone joy, that's enough. She won't pressure him to go back, it's his call. Still, she warns that if he does, he's choosing Himari too. Yugo goes quiet, thinking. Life with Ryan would be calm, but it would mean letting go of Himari. He finally gives Ryan a sad smile. He's choosing Himari. Ryan sighs, nodding, saying she always knew she came second. She gets up, offers her hand, and says they should talk to Himari. They find her in the garden, distant and guarded. As she lays down her terms, Ryan cuts in, revealing she never intended to leave for Tokyo. Yu instantly forgives her, calling her the most important person in his life. Embarrassed, Himari dumps water on herself. Ryan runs to get a towel, leaving them alone. Himari says she loves seeing him create and asks when he'll start again. Yu blushes and says she's his reason for continuing. She hides her happiness with a smirk, teasing him about dating. He declines and life starts to feel normal again. Until summer hits and Kiriga returns, greeted by Shinji as they jump into a talk about Yu. In the early days of their friendship, Yu generally gets along with classmates but stays close to Himari. She often interrupts his conversations, even uninvited, clearly possessive. Yu doesn't mind, it's their usual rhythm. They eventually let another boy join their group, and Yu enjoys the new dynamic, thinking Himari does too. One day, while having lunch, the boy asks to spend Christmas alone with Himari. Yu agrees, uneasy, and later lies to her, saying the school event was canceled. On Christmas, Yu goes alone, sets up his flower display, and chats with Yui, the supervising teacher. Still feeling conflicted, he asks her about friendship. She compares it to flowers needing the right environment to grow. Though the meaning escapes him, it sticks. When he returns to his seat, Himari appears, teasing him for napping. She admits she went out with the boy, but it went badly. He confessed. She turned him down and she had wanted all three of them together like before. Yu confesses he gave their friend a chance with her, thinking they might be a good match. But Himari sadly smiles. She already knew the boy was using Yu to get close to her. She stayed silent, hoping he'd change and value Yu's friendship. Though Yu feels foolish, the feeling fades as things feel right again with Himari beside him. In the calm exhibit, they wander until she notices a wreath of small sunflowers. She guesses its meaning and mentions how he often uses her as his muse. He doesn't say it, but she's right, the piece was for her. Sunflowers mean, I only see you, and that silent message was his. Still looking at the wreath, she gently asks him never to set her up again, admitting she doesn't want to date anyone if it means leaving him behind. If either of them falls in love, she says it should happen together, so neither ends up alone. Back then, after their quiet moment, she made him promise to always see her. Half a joke, half real. When he nervously asks her thoughts on the wreath, she tells him it feels unfinished and wants to see it again once it's complete. Now, in the present, morning begins quietly. Himari wakes, vaguely remembering the past and how she's never been great at making things. Creativity never came easily to her, whether in crafts or cooking. The thought lingers briefly as she gets ready for school. Before entering, she stops by the science club's small garden, routine she adopted because Yu often picks flowers from there for his accessories. Spotting Yu ahead, she rushes to greet him with her usual energy. Throwing herself at him like always, Yu effortlessly dodges, eyes glued to his phone, shielding the screen from her. He walks on silently. As they go, she casually suggests spending a summer evening together, saying it's sentimental since exams will take over after the break. Yu's startled enough to lower his phone and look at her, clearly flustered. She teases him, claiming it's just a best friend thing. Yu avoids eye contact, cheeks red as usual when caught off guard. Before she can push more, Ryan arrives, gently pulling Himari away from Yu, knowing Yu's embarrassment. She slips beside him, takes his hand, and leads him back toward class. As they leave, she gives Himari a playful wink, agreeing to the sleepover idea. Watching them walk hand in hand, Himari wonders how they got so close so fast. Later at lunch, Ryan asks Yu to feed her, but he's too shy without encouragement. To persuade him, she shows a string of messages he sent that morning, begging for help to avoid Himari's usual tackle. Out of excuses, he gives in and feeds her until she finishes eating. Yu grabs Himari's favorite yogurt drink to soothe himself, but she snatches it, saying it's only for when all three of them drink together. Ryu teases that if Yu finds Himari too adorable to stay just friends, he should confess already. Yu replies that he's not ready to date her yet. His goal of opening an accessory shop comes first and romance can wait. Ryan smiles warmly, saying that's the kind of determination she's always respected. Then, with her usual playful tone, she adds that if he's taking his time with Himari, it gives her more chances to win him over. Embarrassed, Yu covers his face, overwhelmed by yet another one of Ryan's bold remarks. After school, on his way to water the science club's garden, he sees Shinji training hard for the tournament. Before he can say hi, Himari jumps on him from behind, clinging to his arm and asking him to help her pick a swimsuit after he's done. He jolts back, scolding her for asking a guy to do that, but then remembers they did the same thing last year. Flustered, he suggests inviting Ryan too. Before Himari can speak, he rushes off to text Ryan and waits by the vending machine, hoping she'll agree to come. When Ryan arrives, her unimpressed look says it all. She strikes him with her trademark iron claw, leaving him on the floor, then bluntly tells him to just refuse if he's so bothered. He tries to explain that Himari is his best friend, but Ryan sees right through him. She knows he's curious to see Himari in a swimsuit again. With a sigh, she says practice is canceled anyway, so he's on his own. Yu and Himari arrive at the mall together. As soon as they see the swimsuit section, Yu starts to panic, thinking about escaping, but Himari grabs his tie before he can run. Almost shyly, she says she wants his help picking something he'd actually like. Yu blushes and spotting chance, smirks, and lets go of his tie. She tries to pull him inside, but he dodges and walks ahead, quickly showing her several swimsuit options. Yu reluctantly realizes he really does know what he likes. Himari casually decides to try them on, making Yu even more nervous. After a wait, she peeks out from the changing room and calls him over. He starts approaching but freezes when she teases him about wearing something revealing. She keeps teasing, tugging his tie and pulling him close. Overwhelmed, Yu suddenly bolts from the store and rushes home. Once there, he notices a pair of unfamiliar high heels at the door. Sakura greets him and casually mentions a guest is waiting inside. A red-haired woman named Kureha, Ryan's older sister, appears and asks Yu to give up Himari. At school, Himari angrily throws a ball at Shinji, blaming him for Yu's strange behavior. He jokes she should let Ryan win, claiming Yu's tired of her, which provokes Himari to threaten his racket. Shinji counters, and after a tense moment, Himari backs down. He denies influencing Yu and hints Kureha might be involved. Earlier, Kureha had told Yu that Himari once planned to join her modeling agency but suddenly withdrew. Yu, feeling guilty, thinks he caused her change of heart. Kureha dismisses it and urges him to convince Himari to return to modeling, saying their dream of opening a store is unrealistic. She even offers a case of money and promises support from her models. Yu firmly refuses, insisting Himari isn't for sale. Calmly, Kureha calls Himari's loyalty to Yu a waste. She mocks Yu's work as unskilled and dull, making him blush with anger. She gives him a choice. Join them in Tokyo, but only if he abandons his dream. Though uncertain, Yu worries he might be holding Himari back. Before Kureha can continue, Hibari storms in, defending Yu and accusing Kureha of manipulation. He had warned him, knowing her tactics, especially since they once dated and she still has blackmail material. She shows a video, leaving Hibari pleading. When Kureha tries to involve Sakura, she knocks the phone away, refusing to join the drama. Hibari reaches for it, but Kureha reveals she has backups. Tired of the fighting, Sakura tells Kureha that Yu's dream matters too. Kureha ignores her and proposes a challenge. Create a quality accessory before summer ends, themed around summer and memories. If he succeeds, she'll back off. If not, she'll trap Himari in debt and force her into the agency. Yu agrees, determined to prove himself and honor Himari's faith in him. One summer evening, Yu remembered when he finally told Himari and Ryan everything about Kureha. Himari instantly blamed Hibari for showing up and stirring things up, claiming it led to Kureha's reckless bet. Frustrated, she even told Hibari to pay off Kureha's debt himself. He refused, arguing none of it would have happened if Himari hadn't lied about going to Tokyo. While they argued, Ryan was already plotting to confront Kureha with their parents. Sakura calmly explained Kureha's nature, how pressure drove her, unlike Yu, thrived with encouragement. She reassured Yu that she still believed in his work. Determined, Yu sipped his drink and silently vowed to win. On the rooftop, Himari pulled him back, saying they needed ideas for what summer memories meant. Though everything depended on his work, Yu stayed positive. She joked that if he lost, she'd join Kureha's agency and quit right after. He scolded her for risking her future, but she just smiled, reminding him he once promised to look after her. That flustered Yu, and when he told her not to make it sound like a proposal, she confirmed it was, then burst out laughing. Still blushing, Yu heads to the vending machine for another yogurt drink, with Himari close behind, trying to win him over. Ryan shows up, silences Himari by grabbing her face, then smiles at Yu and invites him to chase summer memories with her. Elsewhere, Hibari spots Shinji buying snacks and joins him. Teasing his poor food choices, Hibari jokes that a top athlete should know better, then mocks Shinji for losing to Kureha, making him choke. When Shinji brings up a notorious video, Hibari freezes, grabs his chin, and warns him to stay out of Yu's business. Meanwhile, Yu, Ryan, and Himari grab pancakes and brainstorm what summer memories could mean. Himari suggests using scenic beauty as inspiration and offers her and Ryan's help. Ryan, eating quietly, calls Himari bad at idea-making, especially without being suggestive, and dares her to do better. Himari tries with a story of two friends walking in summer rain, but quickly steers it towards soaked uniforms, making it too risque. Yu stops her by stuffing her mouth with pancake and challenges Ryan instead. Her vague reply that any place is fine if she's with him only frustrates Yu more, seeing neither girl is helping him find a real idea. Yu decides the best way to gather inspiration is by taking a summer trip with his friends. Soon, they're on a train to the beach, where he takes photos of Ryan and Himari splashing in the water. Watching them enjoy themselves feels more inspiring than drawing landscapes alone. At one point, the girls joke about chest sizes, leading to a playful chase with Ryan clearly faster. From the shore, Yu quietly enjoys their bond. Later, they cool off at a convenience store with ice cream. Reviewing the photos, you feel something's missing. They look good, but seem more like ads than real memories. Then seeing two kids playing games outside triggers an idea. The next day, he takes the girls to a flower arrangement class he once attended. Inside, their old teacher Yumi is casually gaming with kids, but greets them warmly. Yu flips through albums of past students and finds a photo of him and Himari from middle school. She looks awkward but cute with long hair, which Rian points out. Yumi hears this, then curiously asks why Himari wears her hair short now, something she quickly connects after a pause. Realizing Yu once said he liked her with short hair, she teases him, asking if he really prefers it like this. He's caught off guard, embarrassed, and tries to brush it off. Ryan, twirling her long hair, suddenly says she'll cut it short. Yu panics, begging her not to, saying he likes it long. Yumi, amused, suggests they try flower arranging. Ryan is eager, but Himari declines, sitting quietly by the angawa, lost in thought. Creativity, she thinks, has never been her strong suit. She watches Yu help Ryan after her first attempt flops. With his help, Ryan's flowers turn out lovely. Himari feels discouraged again. At the sink, she looks at her reflection in her short hair, cut not for style, but for something else. After the accident, when her hair was burned because she startled Yu during his work, she claimed she just wanted a new look, though it was really to ease his guilt. Now she wonders if Yu actually prefers long hair, if Ryan is the kind of girl he truly likes. Back at the Ingawa, only Yumi is around, watering plants. She casually asks if Ryan is the hibiscus girl from Yu's old stories. Himari nods. Ryan's loved Yu for 7 years. Yumi then asks if Yu feels the same. Himari admits he probably does, even if he won't say it. Yumi smiles, then teases Himari about her own feelings for Yu. Himari flusters, but before she can respond, Yu and Ryan return. Yu announces he'll base his next piece on sunflowers and shows them an old photo of a sunflower wreath he made back in middle school for Himari. The memory warms her. She agrees sunflowers are perfect, until Yu says Ryan found the photo and suggested the idea. Himari's smile fades, but she hides it. Yu cheerfully suggests they visit a sunflower festival. Everyone agrees, though Ryan ends up staying behind to help her family. A few days later, Himari and Yu ride the train to the festival together. Yu sits behind Himari, saying he's about to eat, but as he pulls out his food, he notices he forgot a drink. Himari quietly offers him a bottle of green tea and calmly asks if he's been thinking about Ryan. Yu is caught off guard, and Himari explains she's noticed him avoiding her lately, likely out of respect for Run's feelings. He doesn't respond. He can't admit his growing feelings for her, so he lies, brushing it off as her overthinking. When he reaches for her tea, she dramatically gulps it and teases that it's a test of his love for Ryan. Then she stands, saying she'll get him a new one from the vending machine. Yu tries to stop her, but she's already walking off, leaving him puzzled by her odd behavior. Alone, Himari's thoughts spiral. She worries that if Yu truly loves Ryan, their friendship might fall apart. Ryan is sweeter, softer, a better fit. She recalls Shinji accusing her of lying about Tokyo and being spoiled by Yu, which is true. He'd give up anything for her, but she knows she can't do the same. She's been selfish. Ryan would treat Yu the way he deserves. Later at the festival, Yu's face lights up at the field of sunflowers. Himari tries to keep him focused, reminding him they're there to find the perfect flower. Yu is captivated. He moves through the field with sharp eyes, scanning for the ideal sunflower. Spotting a vivid golden one, he silently promises to craft something special for Himari to wear when he next sees Kureha. As they walk on to find extras, Himari tries to catch his attention, but he's too absorbed in the flowers. Frustrated yet sure he can't hear her, she mutters her confession and turns to leave. To her shock, Yu calls after her. She faces him, ready to admit her feelings, but he gently chides her, sensing she's trying to provoke him again. Embarrassed, her face flushes. Himari turns and runs, hoping to disappear before the tears come. Yu tries to follow, but loses her in the tall sunflowers. She trips and falls softly to the ground. Hearing him nearby, she quietly calls out, barely audible. Somehow, he finds her. He approaches calmly, and she slips the necklace with the ring into his hands. Without thinking, she leans in and kisses him. Yu gently packs the sunflowers he picked at the festival, careful not to crush the petals, planning to use them for the accessories in his wager with Kureha. The stress of the week hits him again when he notices the necklace beside Himari's ring and recalls their kiss among the sunflowers. Struggling to make sense of her motive, he opens his locker, where he hides his secretly grown flowers and talks to them for advice. Shinji catches him mid-mumble and teases him, raising a brow. Snapping back, Yu asks if Shinji is part of Kureha's scheme, but Shinji denies it, saying Kureha only asked him for information and acted alone. Yu tries to rope him in instead, but Shinji refuses, admitting he likes Kureha and wants her favor. Yu is shocked, but before he can react, Shinji reveals he heard Yu rambling about the kiss. He asks if Yu has confessed to Himari yet. Yu says no, claiming the trip was just for ideas, not romance. Shinji warns him to focus on winning first and sort out feelings later. After Shinji leaves, Yu realizes he's right. If he loses, he'll lose Himari too. The bet must come first. Somewhere else, he wolfs down a plate of gyoza she made to keep busy. Once she's done, silence leaves her alone with guilt about what happened at the sunflower field. Hiding her face in her arms, she scolds herself for kissing Yu and hesitates over texting him, anxiety rising as she fears he might hate her. Before she decides, Hibari knocks and asks to enter. She freezes, dreading his questions, and tries to sneak out the window, but finds him waiting below. Cornered, she admits she kissed Yu, but instead of scolding her, Hibari praises her honesty and jokes that if you reject her, he'll steal you himself. He leaves for the kitchen and shouts when he sees the gyoza gone. The next day, Yu's back in the science lab checking sunflowers for his project, mind wandering to the kiss. Ryan shows up, her calm vibe breaking his thoughts. She eyes the flowers and casually asks if he really kissed Himari. Surprised, Yu blurts out yes, so Ryan flicks a bottle cap at his head. They end up eating lunch at the far ends of the lab table, and between bites, Ryan admits she wishes she'd gone too. Feeling braver, Yu says he'll confess to Himari once his bet with Kureha is over. Reagan shrugs and says no one's stopping him, but warns she won't give up even if they date, joking she'll just be Himari's best friend to snatch Yu back. Smirking, she heads out but bumps into Himari, grabs Hare's face like always, and leaves for practice, making her annoyance obvious. Alone, Himari quietly waters Yu's plants until he says he'll tell her something important after Kureha's bet ends. He then takes down a dried sunflower, and when Himari asks, he says he's making a sunflower crown. Her bright smile makes his heart race, and he knows he loves her even more. That evening, Yu, Ryan, and Himari eat at a burger joint and discuss Oben Festival plans, realizing both girls are too busy to help him finish. Since school will close for break, Yu worries about workspace, but Himari instantly offers her house since Heber will be home. Grateful, Yu accepts and spends the holiday crafting in Himari's living room, while Himari brings food and checks his progress. Once the finishing touches are done, Hibari checks the tire and admits it could be Yu's finest piece so far. The next day, they decide to celebrate with drinks, and he proposes a toast in front of it, certain Yu will win the bet. Yu proudly lifts the box to reveal the sunflower tiara, but his chest tightens when he sees some petals drooping, the bright yellows now faded and weak. He instantly realizes he misjudged the preservation and removed the flowers from the solution too soon. Highberry kneels beside him, studying the damage, but Yu knows there's no time to fix it properly, so he uses extra blooms as samples. Highberry offers to drive him to the sunflower fields, but Yu reminds him he's had alcohol and can't drive. They take a taxi instead, hoping Yu can recreate it in 3 days. 3 days later, he finishes the new tiara as Himari naps on his lap. Himari wakes him with Hibari admires the fresh, delicate design. Himari is enchanted by its soft shape, and Hibari admits its remarkable work under tight pressure. Later, Ryan and Sakura join them to present it to Kureha. When she opens the box, her expression softens with joy as she praises its graceful bridal beauty and refined detail. Yu thinks he might have succeeded and that Kureha will praise him and call him the winner, but in the end, Kureha dismisses the tiara as unremarkable. She agrees it looks nice, but says it doesn't reach the level she expects from him, lacking the depth and thought of his finest work. She points out how rushed it was and scolds him for pretending otherwise. Yu's irritation grows worse when Kureha admits she already knew about the dying petals and last-minute remake thanks to Sakura. When Yu glances at Sakura, she just eats her snacks, unconcerned. Kureha insists she would have accepted defeat if the tiara truly deserved it, but says trying to fool her only confirms her choice. After leaving with Ryan, Sakura walks over and Yu immediately demands to know why she exposed him. Sakura replies that passing off poor work proves Yu shouldn't keep making accessories, and to show this, she opens a box with his old pieces, now faded and wilting. It hits Yu that even his past creations weren't as perfect as he thought, and that before, their main flaw was lacking variety, which was why Sakura challenged him to craft more diverse designs. Ever since Yu's affection for Himari grew stronger, Sakura observed a change in his craft. His technique stayed solid, but his works lost sharpness and purpose. His heart, once his muse, now disrupted him. She bluntly warns he's not fit to go pro if he lets feelings cloud his craft and insists clients shouldn't pay for his emotional mess. If he wants this career, he must divide personal matters from work. She scolds him for believing that tiara, despite its beauty, was acceptable, stressing it reflects poorly on his discipline. Ashamed, Yu lowers his gaze, hurt by the truth and her harshness. Avoiding Himari's eyes, he murmurs to forget his promise to talk, then quietly urges her to head home. Alone with Sakura, Yu studies an old hairpin, its charm overshadowed by flaws he now can't ignore. The next day, Himari seeks answers and calls Shinji, who denies any part in Kureha's ploys. When she says she's staying to keep her word to Yu, Shinji unexpectedly advises leaving might help more by modeling in Tokyo. She could boost her status and bring attention to Yu's designs, eventually lifting his brand. Himari struggles with the thought of being away from Yu, her chest tightening, but Shinji insists that if their love is genuine, distance won't weaken it. He reminds her Ryan will stay and keep an eye on Yu. Himari touches the spot where her ring once rested, torn about what to do. Before leaving, Shinji assures her he'll fully support them if they still choose each other in the end. Later, Himari visits Yu and invites him out, jokingly telling him not to stray while she's gone, though he points out they aren't an official couple. She teases him about Ryan not standing a chance because of her, then gets serious, revealing her plan to become a true model so she can someday promote Yu's art properly and revive their shared dream. If she fails, she jokes she could ask her grandfather to clear Yu's debt. Gently holding his face, she asks whether he wants her to stay now or let her chase this goal. Yu nearly begs her to stay, but she stops him, so he just squeezes her hand and agrees. For now, they'll go separate ways, accepting that fate might reunite them, or that love might not wait forever. As Himari packs, she silently resents how fate is tearing her and Yu apart, just as they've admitted their feelings. Elsewhere, Ryan wakes in the summer heat, changes clothes, and turns on the AC, ready to relax since there's no band and Yu's clearly avoiding everyone, especially her. Just as she settles in, her mom asks her to drop off cakes for Shinji, since Kureha, who was supposed to do it, already left. Annoyed, Ryan heads to Shinji's and finds him oddly upbeat about Himari going to Tokyo. Disgusted, she mocks how rare it is to catch him home and not chase girls. As she hands him the cakes, she pulls them back at the last second. Sensing her mood, Shinji asks what's wrong. Ryan grumbles about Kura trying to run from things and wonders if he could intervene. He's reluctant, but when she thinks Kura might be impressed, he outsmarts her. He perks up and returns to practice. Watching him, Ryan calls out that everything he does is to impress Kureha, so maybe helping Himari is his best chance. Shinji unexpectedly messes up his serve and finally agrees to help, but only after asking if Ryan is truly fine with it, since it might lead to Himari winning Yu's heart. Ryan says she'd rather lose honestly than win by default and believes she'll earn Yu's love someday. Meanwhile, Hibari is driving when he gets a call that shocks him. At school, Yu tends the garden, already feeling Himari's absence and the weight of being the club's last member. He worries she may never return and starts to spiral, only to snap out of it when Shinji shows up. Sensing Yu's mood, Shinji learns Himari's leaving by noon and reminds Yu of his past resolve to follow her to Tokyo. Though Yu says the circumstances have changed, Shinji argues there's no shame in choosing love over ambition. He claims that if Yu truly loved Himari, he wouldn't even hesitate. Yu chooses to let Himari head to Tokyo alone while he stays behind to pursue his art. Suddenly, Yu loses control. He grabs Shinji's collar and yells, confessing just how deeply he loves Himari. When he releases him, Shinji drops with a smile, saying he's done his job. Himari made Yu see what really matters. Heart racing, Yu dashes off, driven by a rush of emotion and memories. Though his legs give out and he crashes onto the pavement, the thought of Himari keeps him going. At the station, Himari stands by her suitcase, reading a message from Kureha about being stuck in traffic. Alone with her thoughts, she reflects on Ryan, who she knows has feelings for Yu. Though she once supported Ryan, she still kissed Yu when the chance comes. Kureha once said her beauty could take her far, maybe she could help Yu from a distance. But that idea brings little relief. Missing him hurts too much and tears begin to fall. Just then, a voice calls out. She turns to find Ryan behind her. Hastily brushing away her tears, Himari thanks Ryan for seeing her off and mocks Yu for ignoring her messages. Ryan smiles and thanks her for surrendering the match. Caught off guard, Himari insists the kiss meant nothing, just friendly. Ryan calmly tells her to stop pretending. Himari claims everything is for her and Yu's shared dream, but Ryan questions if that dream matters if Yu isn't happy. That cracks Himari. She snaps that only she can do it, daring Ryan to go model in Tokyo if it's so easy. To her shock, Ryan agrees, taking her hand and saying she'll go, but only if Himari gives Yu to her. Stunned, Himari slaps Ryan's pinky promise away, unable to accept. Ryan smiles gently, pleased Himari is finally being honest. Himari breaks down, sobbing as she tackles Ryan, admitting she doesn't want to leave but feels that it's all her fault. Ryan hugs her, reminding her they're too obsessed with what's next, just like her mom once did, turning a simple hobby into something bigger than anyone expected. Ryan gently reminds Himari that while planning matters, living in the now is just as crucial. She assures her that Yu values her more than his dream shop. Suddenly, Yu appears, breathless and determined. He runs to Himari, grabs her shoulders, and begs her not to leave for Tokyo, saying she's doing it for them. But he knows she truly doesn't want to go. He admits he feared losing her, which made him obsess over a future where they'd reunite even if it meant pain now. But he realizes there's no point in a future that ruins the present. Before Himari replies, Kureha storms in, accusing them of cheating and saying you already lost. Yu pleads for another shot, but Kor refuses, citing Himari's debt. Then Shinji's voice breaks in from a balcony as he tosses down a heavy bag of money, saying he'll pay the debt. Ryan scolds him for being late, and Shinji says the bag's heavy, crediting Hibari for the loan. Hibari arrives just then, and Shinji points out that since he wasn't part of the original deal, he could borrow freely. Korra glares, clearly stunned. Shinji smirks, reminding her she turned him down before. Now that the debt is settled, he asks if she still has issues. Kureha glares at the group size and storms off to kick Hibari's car, blaming him for everything and demanding to go somewhere nice. Hibari grabs the bag of money, grumbling as he follows. As they drive off, Shinji hops in and says they all owe him, especially Himari. Seeing their shocked faces, he quickly lays down rules. No dropping out or moving away, and they must keep making accessories until graduation. Laughing, he calls their messy love story too fun to end. With the tension easing, he suggests they eat, and since Himari owes him most, she's paying. At the sushi place, Ryan and Shinji eat happily while Himari and Yu silently dread the bill. Later, as the sun sets, Yu walks Himari home. She jokes that his bond with Shinji will only cause chaos and claims he'd be lost without her, especially now that they're planning to open a shop together. Yu suddenly admits he's thought about giving up his dream. Himari, stunned, listens as he explains that recent setbacks, especially Sakura's tough love, made him realize he's not ready to run a business yet. He'd been so fixated on owning a shop that he lost sight of why he started preserving flowers at all. Now he wants to aim higher and create something lasting, not just for himself, but so Himari never has to sacrifice anything again. Gently, he says he'd be happiest if she stayed by his side forever. Blushing, she's speechless until he laughs and teases her for getting flustered. She scolds him for ruining the moment, but he then pulls out the choker and ring he once gave her, admitting he meant to say more back then but lost his nerve. Days later, while she's tending the garden, Yu shows up. She jokes he owes her and dares him to say he loves her. She leans in too far and topples them both, and Yu finally confesses he loves her more than anything. She laughs, touched, and just as he leans in to kiss her, Shinji interrupts, yelling at them for being too affectionate. Ryan appears too, and Himari jokingly accuses them of trying to steal Yu again. But Ryan only brought cookies to share. Yu happily sits with them, Himari joining soon after, her annoyance forgotten. Surrounded by love and friendship, Yu knows this summer is already perfect. If you're enjoying the journey of this series, please hit that like and subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. All of your support helps me to keep bringing more high-quality recaps.